Okay, so what I'm going to be cover. Okay, so first step is setting up your development environment. So I'm going to teach how to set up the development environment, what are the best practices, and then which version we need to use currently. Okay, how to use it, how to set up the virtual environment, how we can code over the IDE and test your first project. This is the today's task, and then we are going to create a some of the new Django project that having the basic features to understand, with some of the user level feature, then model level feature, then after some more feature regarding the context API and model managers. So that I am also going to teach you guys. Okay, so what are the majors I'm going to teach you? Models, ORM, database migrations, how they work. Then URL conf. Okay, so basically in the Django every view serve based on the URLs. So URL configurations, introduction to the views, built-in views and mixings. Then after I'm going to teach you at the end of this class how to deploy Django application with Apache and Docker Kubernetes. So those are the major topics I am going to teach you over this session. Okay, thank you everyone. So almost we have done. Okay, and most of the people do not have answer to those questions. Maybe some of the people are already having the knowledge of a Django, so don't know. So let's start with the Django and Python. Okay, so before going to the Django, I want to teach there are two things over the Python, so you guys know how things work with the Django. Having the packages. Okay, so Python is one of the programming language. There are a lot of the packages. Okay, those packages we can install by the pip. Okay, pip is also one of the packages, and we need to install pip. Okay, and then we need to install some of the packages by pip. Okay, pip. Whenever we need to install some packages, Python packages, we use pipe pip install and package name. Okay, and when we need to uninstall some application, we use pip uninstall and package name. Okay, so whenever we need to install something, okay, we use pip and package name, pip install and package name. Okay, so now first thing, for creating a new Django project, we need to first create a virtual environment. Okay, so I am going to create a virtual environment and install Django there. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to open a editor. Let's open the VS Code. Okay, so firstly what we need to do, we need to check we have a Python or not. So see, I have Python installed. I just type a Python, so it's saying that 3.8 is already installed. Now I'm going to write a command python -m venv dot venv. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new virtual environment. Python already come with a package that name is the venv virtual environment. Okay, so whenever you writing Python, okay, and venv dash with dash m, it will be create a new virtual environment. Okay, so if you see here, a .venv directory is created. Now we need to activate. Okay, source.venv bin activate. So you see we have activated the virtual environment. Okay, now first of all we need to do install Django. So what I explained to you, whenever we need to install some Python packages, we need to write pip install package name. Okay, pip install Django. If we are not going to give it like any version name, okay, so it will be install the latest available version. So if we type Python install Django, it will going to install latest available Django version. Otherwise we can specify like a 3.1 or something. Okay, so it will install that particular version. So let's go with the latest available version. So it's going to install a Django. There are some of the other packages also installed with the Django, so you see those here. Okay, so SQL parse is the one of the package that always install. Then backport join info. Cool. So now Django is installed. Okay, so if you want to check Django is installed or not, just type Python. Okay, import Django. You see, you able to import it. Otherwise you can also check the how many packages in current virtual environment. Okay, how many things are installed. So you can write pip freeze. You see there are a couple of packages, 5 packages installed. Okay, cool. So I'm supposing you guys understand this. Okay, now I'm going to create a new Django project. Okay, so Python. So basically we have installed Django. Okay, so a command will always come up, Django admin. Okay, if you type Django admin, just press a enter, you will get all the commands come with Django. Okay, so there is a check, compile messages, create table. Okay, those are the some of the command. Okay, we need to do start project. We are going to start a new project. Okay, so Django admin, Django admin, start project, and project name should be like a tax calculation. Okay, so we have a created new Django project, tax calculation. Okay, you see here there is a project is created. Inside this project having manage.py. Okay, so what manage.py do? Manage.py having the main function. So whenever you run manage.py, it will by default run. If you already know about the little bit about the Python, so all execution always start from the main. Okay, so it will execute a main function. Okay, and main function do is load the setting. Okay, so currently there is a setting file. So os.environment.set default. So in current environment, OS environment, Django setting are loaded. Okay, then after execute from command line. This is the one of the function written inside the Django. Okay, so we need to import. You can also import anywhere like your console or anywhere. Okay, and you can call this function to pass any kind of a backend execution or if you want to call some functions, inner functions. Okay, want to start some other ports or some Django functions inside the Django application. Okay, so you can also call execute from command line. Okay, the main purpose of the manage.py is loading the setting. Okay, and call execute from command line function. That's it. Then if you go here, as you see there is a setting is loading. Okay, so we are going to the setting. So pathlib is one of the Django module. Okay, they are taking pathlib by because every project having some path. Okay, so where is the file exist, where is the static file, images, css, those are present. Okay, some other files, so we are using that for pathlib. So you see base dir. Base dir means current directory of project. So what they are saying, path file name, current file, double underscore file, that means current executable file path. Okay, then resolve parent dot parent. Okay, so it will be give current directory path. I will check it out later on. I will print it and show you guys. Secret key, the most important part of a Django project, secret key. Okay, so like out of 100 interview, 90 plus people, 80 plus people will ask what secret key do in Django. What are the importance of a secret key? Okay, can we run application without secret key? No, we can't. So what are the important of this secret key? Okay, so secret key is the most important part, because you know encryption and decryption. Okay, so whenever something is encrypted, always a key is necessary to encrypt some data. Okay, and same key used when we are decrypting that particular data to original format. Okay, so in Django we use session token. Okay, session token always encrypted or decrypted with secret key. Okay, secret key help for decryption and encryption of the tokens. Okay, also CSRF token. Okay, JSON web token, any kind of a security encryption and decryption, we use secret key. Secret key used for encryption and decryption of any kind of a token or secret information within a Django application. Okay, debug equal to true, it means currently you are developing the application. In production mode we need to make it false. Allowed host, it should be like a, for now, all. Okay, star means all. You can also give like a www.django.com, something like that. This means what is the exact domain Django application is running. If you not provide that particular domain here, okay, Django application give 500 error. Okay, install app, all the application we are building. So Django is a modular. There are design pattern. Inside the design pattern, if you read about the software engineering, okay, inside the software engineering you will see design patterns. In design patterns there is a two design pattern, one is the structure, one is the modular. Okay, so Django work on the modular design pattern. So we need to create a simple applications. Okay, and those applications are the part of Django project. So here you see admin is the one of the application. Auth, it's not important to you use the auth package. Okay, but if you are going to use the auth package, it will provide default authentication, login and registration feature. Okay, content type, so similar you can create your own packages or add here for install app. Okay, so I'm going to create one of the package very soon and we add here, so you guys know how it will be done. Okay, middlewares. So basic detail about the middleware, like whenever a request come from browser to server, okay, so it will always go to the middleware. Okay, and check all the middlewares. Okay, process the middlewares and then code will be executed and response will be written. Okay, so all middleware process during request and response. Okay, so like a session middleware, what session middleware check. Okay, so session is active or not. So suppose if user is going to log in, okay, and session middleware is added, so session middleware will check, okay, current user is logged in or not. Session middleware define request.user inside the every request in Django. Similar security middleware check the security related features. Okay, command middleware, CSRF middleware, all are the middlewares. Those are the default available middlewares by the Django. We can create our own custom middlewares. Maybe the end of the class we are going to create one simple middleware. Then after URL, root URL conf. Okay, which URL will taken by the Django application. Some of the people think, okay, Django by default take this URL. Okay, no, not exactly. The URL file you need to define in setting. Okay, root URL conf. Okay, instead of this like a URLs, you can write here path URLs. Okay, path URLs, and here you need to define like a path url.py. So it will be start taking to the path urls. Okay, then template. So which template directory and template tags they are going to execute it. Okay, so what backend we are using, there are multiple backend in the Django template, Jinja. Okay, so by default it come with the Django template. Directory of a template. Okay, if you are not going to define a directory of a template, it take by default templates inside the application. Okay, app directory too, it means inside the app it's going to check template directory exist or not. If it's exist, all the template within the app always taken. Then template context processes. Okay, so template context processor is one of the kind of a function or class you can say, okay, that will executed on the every request. So just for example, you want to build a menu bar on the top of a website that is a dynamic somehow. Okay, so it display category and subcategory and tags etc. Okay, and if it's display category and category, so you can't write everything on the all the urls and views. Okay, so what we can do, we can build a simple context processor where we define everything. Okay, and return like a all category or subcategory to html template, because it's available everywhere, because it will get call every request and response. Okay, wsgi application. What is the wsgi? Wsgi is the one of the simple application server that run the python code. So in this case, our Django project, we are using wsgi. Okay, so if you see here, okay, this is the wsgi code. Okay, what simply it's do, it's just loading the environment setting and start the application server. Okay, so this is the wsgi. Then we have a database configuration. Currently it's pointing to the sqlite 3 that by default coming with the Django application. We can later on set here python modules for postgres, sql, anything. Those are the simple validators. Here you can also configure like a time zone. Okay, so like if you have a project, okay, and your project running on the various time zones, so you can configure your time zone like for USA time zone, India time zone, Singapore time zone, Japan time zone. Okay, static url, it will be defined the static file urls. Okay, default auto field, this will be this recently added on 4.2. okay, before it was not present. So if you're running greater than 4, this field will be always added here in the setting. It's not necessary to add. Okay, so let's run our first Django application. So we need to type python manage.py. Sorry, we need to go inside the folder. So I'm cd dx. Okay, python manage.py run server. So as soon as I have run, you see it started the development server. Okay, at 127.0.0.1 colon 8000. This is the by default Django server. Okay, wsgi server, and we can use it on browser. Okay, so see, Django is running. We are using Django 4.2. Okay, cool. So now basically we are able to set up the new Django project. Fine. Anyone having any questions? So let's start with next step. Okay, and I will just going to take a 10 minutes, then we have a 5-minute break. Okay, and then we again sit for like 45 to 30 minutes. Okay, cool. Let's go. So now we are going to create a simple application. Okay, so what we are going to do, let's create a application. Okay, for tax consultation. Okay, so tax consultation, what we need to create, just create a Django app. Okay, so python manage.py, the simplest way I can tell you. Okay, if you don't know command, just enter this python manage.py. It will give you the list of the commands. So what we need to do now, start app. Okay, so python manage.py start app. What will be the name of the app? We have to give. Okay, so we can do hire CA. Okay, hire chartered account. So now you can see a hire CA app came here. Now what we need to do, let's run the python code. Okay, we have started the Django server. We have created new Django app, that is a hire CA. So first step, always remember, whenever you create a app, you need to register it to the setting.py. Okay, so inside the install app, we need to write hire CA. Okay, so this is the app we recently created, hire CA. Cool, understood? Okay, let's save it. As soon as we have a save, Django server reloaded. Okay, and changes updated to the server. Now what we need to do, we need to create a sample model. But before that, you see here it's saying run python migrate, because some of the unapplied migrations are here. Okay, so let me close the Django server and run migrate. What migrate do? Just suppose there is a database. Okay, there is a database. Currently we are using SQLite. So database having the some tables. For now, just suppose user table. Okay, so Django having the model, database having the table, but currently there is a no table created. But Django models, there is a models in the Django called user, session, etc. Okay, so those models, when we run migrate, those models get created inside the database. Okay, so be hitting migrate. Okay, as soon as we hit the migrate, you see migration run. Okay, first of all, context type is created. Okay, applying context type auth, that means authentication, then admin, and then authentication. There are a lot of the version update, so that those are created. At last, session also created, that store the session for every logged in user. Okay, so session table also created. Okay, so now all the default migration we run. If you want to see, okay, so user bark like admin bark, or we have included auth. Okay, so auth working or not, so just do one thing, python manage.py create super user. It will create a super user. Okay, so let's keep it Yogesh. Okay, email address yogesh@rubypi.com. Okay, password we can set 123 for now. Okay, 123. It's saying your password is big, but I want to still process. Okay, so it's created new password. Let's run Django server again, and let's do a little bit debugging. Okay, so let me go to the admin, how admin module run, and logged in with username and password. Okay, so you see, as we already have group and user inside the admin, that means when we was included this module. Okay, auth module. So auth module itself having the user and group modules. Okay, user and group related feature. Okay, and admin, so we also added admin to admin responsible for this UI you see here. Okay, so this all UI come from Django admin app. Okay, cool, understood. So now we are be able to see the default admin side of a Django. Okay, if you want to add more users, you can add from here. Okay, if you want to update, you guys can update from here. Okay, so this is a default Django admin side. Okay, now we are going to build our own, okay, model. So what we need to do, we have a higher ca, okay. Inside the higher ca we need to create our model, okay. So instead of going one by one, let me ask from chat gpt, okay, to provide me the model for higher ca, okay. So let me open chat gpt. It's easy, okay. If you type Django model for hiring ca, see, so basically chat gpt not able to understand, but let's see, we can just copy and paste and just update. Hi, okay. We can just make a simple module, contact, first name, last name, email id, phone number, okay. And we do not need them, then first name, last name, okay. So we have just created a simple model. You see, models are coming from django.db.models, okay. So inside the django.db import models, model is one of the module. If you want to see it, let me guide you, okay. So go to the django github, open the django repository, repo, okay. So what say django.contrib, what was the path, django.db, okay. So looks like my internet is getting slow little bit. Is call working? Yeah. Are you guys to hear me properly?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay. So inside the DB, if you check init, okay. So in init having the models, okay. Sorry, not init. There is a model module. Yeah, this one, models. So we are importing this models. So we are importing everything from this folder, django.db import models, okay. And by default it's init.py, that is a module loading everything, okay. So whenever we import some modules, models is a modules, okay. Inside the models everything is defined, okay. So whenever you import these models, django.db.models, all the packages written inside its init.py, okay, imported in our application, okay, everything, okay. So you see, whenever you writing models.model, so what that means, here in the string you see models, okay, this one django.models.model. So we are importing this model, okay, cool. Similarly, all the fields, transform, lookup, JSON field, file field, one to many, foreign key, everything coming from a module, okay. That module name is models. So in Django project there is a DB folder, inside the DB folder having the models folder, okay, and we are importing that models folder, okay. There are maybe the some of the experienced Django developer, they always suppose it's some, maybe the sum of the module or class name, okay, but it's not a class name, it's just a module, high level module, okay. In this high level module everything is defined inside the init. So whatever imported in the init you are importing directly. So whenever you will write models dot cascade, okay, models dot signal, models dot protect, okay, models dot set null, you can write anything, okay. Those are imported here. Cool, understood, hopefully, okay. So let's move to the next. Okay, so you see we are writing models.model, then model.care field. Whenever we writing model.care field, it's pointing to the care field. Sometime you don't see here care field, okay, its care field is not mentioned, okay. So it's not necessary, it's importing some recursive functions, okay. Maybe it's imported by fields, okay. So you see model.db.fields all fields, it means all the fields are loading here, so it's not necessary to explicitly type the care fields on init import, okay. Similarly for indexes it's importing asterisk, that means everything, okay. So if you coming to the Django modules or you even not find how it's getting imported, it doesn't mean it's not imported, okay. There are some modules you can directly import, okay. So if you want to import everything from the file, okay, you can import by the star. If you want to import all the functions or classes, you need to write all, okay. If you want to include, okay, import everything, okay, that are necessary, ignore rest of the things, so you need to specify by name, one by one, okay. So let's go to the again model side. So we have created a new model, okay, and this model name is the contact, okay, and we have created 4 field for now. Cool. We have a just defined string. This is a basically representation technique, okay. So when contact as object is created, contact object is created, how it going to represent to the user, how it will be visually visualized, okay. So this is for representation technique, okay. From tomorrow I will ask you guys what is difference in the double underscore str rep, okay, repr. Understood? So I'm going to ask you this, what are the difference in those two, okay. So if possible, just read it little bit, what are the difference in the str and representation. Okay, cool. So let's move to the next thing. We already registered that, now we need to create a migration, okay. So as we have a created model, so for this we need to create a migration. Currently you see migration folder are here, okay, but no migration file exists. So we are going to close the Django server, going to write make migrations, okay. It create a new migration. Let me again run the Django server. You see python manage.migrate, it's saying that there is a one unapplied migration, you need to run migrate. If you see this folder, one migration is created. What this migration saying, this migration is the initial migration because first time we are creating, there is a dependency, no, there is a no dependency because we haven't taken any foreign key anything, okay. Then what operation this migration do, what operation this file do when executed, it will be going to create a model that was in name contact and field or this. So this operation will be go into the database, create a new table, name should be higher ca underscore contact, and all the columns should be like id, first name, last name, email and phone number, okay. So this will be created something like this. Now let's apply the migration. Migrate. Now it's applied. Run server. So we have created a model, we created a migration, we applied that migration to the database. Now can we see that particular contact us inside the admin? Yes or no? No, because we need to register that model to admin side, okay. We need to register that particular model to admin side. So we are going to register that. Let's move to the admin.py. Inside the admin.py we need to write admin.site dot register, and we need to pass mod contact us model name, okay. Can we write this? Let's save it, okay. So you see contact is not defined. So what we need to do, we need to import contact. How we need to import the contact? So from hire ca, this is the module we have that we included in the install app. So what is the name? Hire ca dot models import contact. Okay, now you see server perfectly running. If you go to the Django admin, inside the hire ca, a contact model is created. You can create a lot of the contact like Yogesh, Vedi, the Ruby, pi.com, 1 2 3 4 5 6. We haven't added validation, save it. So you see, so Yogesh Dwivedi by default representation comes. Cool. Hopefully all everyone understand till now. Okay. So shall we take a 5-minute break? So let's start Django console. Okay. So you see what we did actually. So we have created some records. Okay. So let me close some of the things. Okay, so we have created a contact from here. Okay, we can also contact from admin. Okay, we can delete it if needed from admin itself. Okay, but how we can do from like a database? So sometime we are running query over the database. Okay, select start. Okay, insert into. So similar things we can do from Django itself. Okay, so Django having building console. Let me open the console. For open the console you need to write shell. Okay, python manage.py shell. It will start the python terminal. Okay, now you need to import contact model. Okay, so for that contact model, this contact model, what we need to write? From hire ca dot models import contact. Okay, so we have imported the contact. If you want to check contact imported, yeah, this contact referring to hire ca dot models dot contact class. Contact is the class. Okay, so we are writing contact dot objects. Objects is a query set reference. Okay, what we are writing always objects. Object is the reference of a query set basically. Okay, query set object. Object dot all, it means for this model contact whatever record is available we need to print them. So in backend SQL what we are running, select star from contact table. Okay, select star from contact table. ठीक है ना, this will display all the records available in contact table. So let me run. So you see that before we was created one record, it's Yogesh Dwivedi. Okay, now we need to create one more record. Okay, so how many fields we have, how many columns in the database table? Okay, first name, last name, email, phone number. So let's create a new object. So con contact equal to, we are making a new object of this class. Okay, so we have created a new object of this class. Object name is con. Okay, now we are going to do con dot first underscore name equal to Ankit. Okay, contact dot last underscore name equal to Patidar. Okay, So contact dot email equal to Ankit, sorry, Ankit at the rate rubypi.com. Okay, contact dot phone underscore number equal to, we can pass, because it's care field, so we can pass anything. Okay, so now contact object is loaded. Okay, loaded with all the records, but it's not committed to the database. Currently it's mapped with like a Python object. So whenever you writing object dot first name equal to Ankit, what happened exactly? A setter, Python setter method get call, and it said that, okay, so this object dot first name equal to Ankit. You know about the setter and getter in the Python? If you don't know about the setter and getter in the Python, must read setter and getter. Okay, how something set inside the object, okay, and something we can get from object. Okay, so whenever you writing connection dot first name, it means a setter method is getting called, setter method calling and making a variable first name and setting the value to Ankit. Okay, similar for everything. Now we need to save it, that means commit to the database. So if we call connection dot save, okay, contact dot save, sorry, my apology, it will create a new record in database table. Okay, now if you want to check contact dot object all, you see there is a two record. Okay, before it was just one record, now it's two record. Okay, now we can also do contact dot objects dot first, it will return first created record. If you do last, it will return last created object. Okay, you can also give like a get will return one record, get email equal to yogesh at the rate rubypi.com, it will be written yogesh. If you write something that do not exist in the get, it return the exception. Okay, so email equal to rubypi.co, this not present, so it's written the exception. What was the exception? Contact matching query does not exist. Okay, so whatever the query we are trying to figure out from the database, it's not available in the database, so it's not available in Python mapping ORM. Okay, what sorry, what is the exception type? Database exception. Okay, so this exception, basically if you need to handle, you need to handle does not exist, record does not exist kind of a exception. Okay, this is defined inside the query set db.py in Django. Okay, fine. Now if you need to filter, so let's create one more record. Okay, this time I'm not going to say like create a new object, set value one by one, okay, and then save it. Okay, this time I'm going to tell you different method. So suppose if you have a some dictionary, let's say dt. Okay, inside the dt you can define data. So first underscore name, so this should be, let me check any one name from here. So Priyansh Nima. Okay, so Priyansh last underscore name Nima, email Priyansh at the rate rubypi.com, and then phone number. Phone number, it should be any string because we have a chosen character type. Okay, so you can do anything. Now we have created the Python dictionary. Okay, you can see the dt. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to load direct this data to our model. So we can load it like a con equal to this, and we can pass it double underscore dt. Okay, check the connection. So instead of writing one by one, directly we can pass it as a parameter, and setter getter method will load it. Okay, but even we need to call connection dot save. Okay, so it's saved. Let's run a first query. All. Now see, there are 3 records. Now one more way. Okay, so I am going to tell you one more other way to add the record. So let's create again dictionary. So this time instead of a Priyansh, we can choose any other name. So we can choose like a Priyanka Jatau. Okay, Priyanka. Priyanka. Okay, so now dt change. Okay, and now we are going to create a record. So this time we are going to use query set. Okay, currently what we are doing, just loading data to the our model and calling the save model save method. Okay, now this time we are going to use query set. Okay, so contact dot objects dot create, and we can pass dt. See, record is created, Priyanka Jatau. So what is the query set versus save? Okay, first of all, we have a created from admin. Second record we created from like a one by one, we are setting the value for all field. Then we press the save. Third way, we created a dictionary, load that dictionary to the model and call the same method. Okay, and the fourth way, we have created a dictionary and loaded all data to create method, contact.object.create. What is the difference? Okay, so first from admin, it's generally called the same things that we have done first. Okay, second second is the Python way. It's happening same like if second we just assigning the data. Okay, first is the admin one. Okay, second is the simply assigning the data here, and then calling one by one. Then this is the one of the perfect example, this one. Okay, so how to save the data? This one is the also same as setting one by one, but what we are using, we are using keyword arguments, Python way, to set the variables inside the object. Okay, set the attribute inside the object. Okay, so if you do like a connection dot first name equal to first name, either you directly pass a dictionary, it will also passing same thing, doing same thing. Okay, then fourth one is the connection dot contact dot object dot create. So what is the difference in this one and this one? Okay, so there is a one major difference. If you writing contact dot object dot create, it's too much faster compared to contact dot directly creating the record. But what is the difference then? If why we should use like a contact dot save? So whenever we using the save method of a model, be calling the save method, then only post save and pre save is getting executed. Post save and pre save are the callbacks. Okay, so in Django model, if you saving some data, so before save if you want to do some operation, or after save if you want to do certain operation. Okay, then those callback we need to write, and after record save, the post save or pre save callbacks getting executed. Okay, but if we writing contact dot object dot create, in that case post save and pre save methods not getting called. Okay, and this way sometime we are a little confused, our record is created but why these methods are not getting called. So whenever you have a model and having post save and pre save methods, you must need to use same method. Okay, instead of using query set for creating the object. Okay, fine. Now query set having some lot other method too. Okay, so if you write contact dot objects dot, okay, delete, it will delete all the current available query set record. Okay, so if we directly write contact dot object dot delete, it delete everything. Okay, but let's do one thing, contact dot object dot filter. Filter method is a SQL bare clause. Okay, so generally what we write, if we have a records, okay, so if we write something like this, okay, currently we have a 4 record. If we want to delete Priyanka, what we will do, if just suppose if we want to select the Priyanka, what we need to do, select star from contact where email equal Priyanka at the rate rubypie.com, or you can find the Priyanka ID and where ID equal to something. So similarly we can write contact dot objects dot filter. Filter that means where email equal to Priyanka at the rate rubypie.com. See, the return result is Priyanka. So we can store it on some result variable. Okay, so res is the one of the variable we can, you see res. Okay, so res is the query set kind of a variable. Okay, it's basically the query set object pointer. Okay, if you see dir of res, dir is the Python method. If someone not know, just to be remember, dir will print all the available method for particular current object. Okay, so if you want to see all the methods of a current object, you can pass that particular object to inside the dir. So see, there is a update method. Okay, so those are the some private methods, just ignore them till private methods. So update etc, okay, till here. Then we have some other methods. Okay, get I explain, create I explain, okay, get time db, refer, delete I explain, difference. If you want to check the two object difference, you can use difference. Okay, order by is here, ordered is here, prefetch related is here. I will explain you like a third or fourth class. Query, in query you can write the custom query. Similarly row, you can write the custom row. Resolve expression, if you have a regular expression, you can write the resolve expression. Reverse the query set. Okay, select for update, if you want to use some record for select the update, you can select related. I will explain you in the third class. Okay, update or create. Okay, and value list and value. Okay, so let's see the value first. Okay, so res dot values. Okay, so see, it will display the value. If you directly see the res, it's not going to display, it just displaying the Priyanka Jadhav contact us object. Okay, by it's printing here Priyanka Jadhav because of we have given the representation string here, first name and last name. That's why it's writing here Priyanka Jadhav. Otherwise it will be writing some instance over the this object of a memory. Okay, so if we write values, it will be print the values of that particular record or maybe the multiple record. Okay, so if we directly take all dot values. Okay, so see, for all record value it's displaying. Okay, then other function is important, that is a value list. Okay, so you see it's also the same, but it's printing over the list fragmentation of a query set. Okay, now we are going to use delete. Okay, so we have a res. Okay, if we type res, let's see update then delete, res dot update and inside the update we can pass email equal to last name equal to last underscore name equal to uh, other name. Okay, and we can again print res. So you see Priyanka other name. Okay, so record updated. Now we can try a delete method, res dot delete. Okay, record deleted. So now if you fetch all records, Priyanka record deleted. Okay, so we have now Yogesh, Ankit and Priyans. Okay, okay. So what actually I'm going to do, okay, I have just created a contact admin. Okay, and it's basically inheriting the admin.model admin. Admin is also one of the module, as I show you before. Model is the one of the complex module by the Django complex module. So admin is also module. Inside the admin there is a model admin. So what model admin do exactly? It directly map models to admin interface. Okay, so whatever model we have, directly map model to the admin interface. Okay, so we have used this model admin. Then list display, we are using all four fields for the list display. Then we are using list filter. Okay, so first name last name. For now let's use like a first name and email only. Okay, so those two fields. Then we have a register, the admin dot site dot register. Model is the contact, and we have a make custom build for admin. Okay, now I'm going to run the Python server and check the admin. So before, this admin looks like this. Now see, this admin looks like this. Okay, proper bill listing format. Cool. इट्स लाइक ए बूम. कितने छोटे से कोड में कितनी बड़ी बात कर दी हमने. बट एग्जैक्टली नॉट दिस. एडमिन इज ए प्री बिल्ड, so we have to write a small code to just adjust our admin panel based on the need. Okay, for our custom build we need to do whatever needed. Okay, create a custom view and everything. So this is the one of the pattern for overwriting the admin panel in Django. Now let's move to the next thing. So we have a first name and last name. Okay, we have a first name and last name. Suppose if we need to show full name anywhere, okay, full name anywhere, we do not need to be write like this. Okay, so what we can do, we can create a method called full underscore name. Okay, self. Why self? Because pointing to the current reference of a object class, sorry, current reference of a class. Okay, self represent the current object. Okay, self always refer to the current object. Okay, so current object first name and last name we need to combine like this. Okay, so we are using this, we just copy and paste, and we make it property. So property type field, that means it's property, not a method. In Python you can define this is a method, either you can make a method to the property. So we are making it to the property. If you want to refer, you can just go and check it out how we can use property methods. Okay, in Python. Okay, so I have just added it. Now let's include it to the, instead of a first name and last name, we directly use full name. Okay, let's go to the admin. Now full name is getting displayed. Okay, so we can create property methods inside the class. Okay, cool, understood. Now we are going to create some references. Okay, some views. So how we can go for views? Okay, so first of all, you see views.py. Okay, views.py. There are two kind of a views in the Django. First is the function based view, second is the class based view. In function based view, you can simply write a Python function that take a parameter request, okay, and return response. Okay, response is the one of the Django class that hold template, context variable, and other request related data. Okay, and return response. So if you simply writing the method, okay, you need to write it with proper logic, okay, and always return the response. Okay, in Django 2 or later one, Django introduced inbuilt class based methods. So there are a couple of methods, template methods, okay. Then normal views where you can define the get and post methods. Then having the create view, update view, delete view, all views are available. Okay, so currently we are in the Django 4, so I'm not going for the like a function based views, okay, because those are not necessary. Most of the people already stopped using their function based views, okay, and those are also getting deprecated by the Django very soon. So we are going to focus on the class based view. What are the major in the class based view? Okay, sorry. So every class based view having the meta configurations, okay, and static variables. So class based view, when you writing class based view, you need to define the template, which HTML template served by this class. If you not define that particular template in the class based view, it will be auto generate the template, okay, auto generate the name of a template. So they are supposing the template name should be this, okay. Most of the framework do not allow to customize lot of the things, but Django having built-in feature to customize a lot of the things. You can do in your own way. So now what we are going to do, just take a list view, okay. So I'm going to take a help from the chat gpt, thanks to chat gpt, okay. So I'm just going to write Django list view for contact model, okay. So instead of writing lot of the things, chat gpt going to write for me, okay. Oh wow, it's also giving the html, I was not supposed to. Okay, cool. So here you see I'm going to copy code and put to my view.py. Now you see render, there is a no necessity for render, because render always used when we was using function based view, okay. So I'm going to delete the render. Django.view.generic import list view, okay. So from generic we are using to import list view, and we are also importing contact, okay. If you want to see list view inside the Django repository, let's show you. Django GitHub, okay. So inside Django you will see views generic, okay. So inside the Django there is a views, okay, there is a generic. Inside the generic having all the details, okay. So we need to find it inside init.py. We are loading basically list view. So whenever from generic we are writing list view, it's coming from here, okay. All the name defined, all you see here, all, okay. So all we are going to import, okay. So list view, cool. So we are importing from list view. Original list view is coming from generic dot list, but we are not writing here list, okay, because we are importing from module itself. If you want to import from list, it will also going to be work, okay. So if you write this way, okay, this will also going to be work, there is no difference. But most of the things, okay. So you see here the list is coming from the list file, edit is coming from the like create, delete, form view, and update view coming from the edit, detail view coming from the detail, okay. So in this case all the view import should work from the different file. Okay, so what Django do, Django has make a common generic module from where you can import everything. So from generic you can import detail, you can import generic view error, delete form view, today achieve view, okay, day achieve view, anything. Okay, so I will explain you later on what are the those. Currently we are going to just focus on the list view only today. Okay, so we are going to import list view from generic. Okay, you see template name. So template name, what template to be loaded when this view get called, and context object name. Okay, so it will be like a context. So for now let me comment both of them. Okay, and just need to be define the URL. Okay, so let's copy the URL. Okay, and we can create a new URL. Always try to create a urls.py inside the application. urls.py. Okay, and this one. Okay, now we need to load this because this url.py. Okay, so we have created urls.py inside the hire ca, but there is a no way to call hire ca.urls from anywhere. So what we need to do, because setting.py only figure out the urls that is defined here. Okay, tags call dot urls. Okay, so you see tags call dot urls dot py. Okay, so this is the url always setting dot py figure out. Okay, so we need to make one more path. Okay, so let's do one thing, copy and paste. Okay, we need to import url. Okay, path and include. Okay, and what is the name, hire ca dot urls. So I'm going to find by default root folder. Okay, cool. So I have defined the hire ca. That means inside the hire ca app there is a urls.py. So include all the urls defined here. Okay, so it will include all the urls defined here. Cool. And now when this url hit, okay, so for now I'm not going to include anything. By default root folder should be this one. Okay, so contact list view get call, this view get call. Okay, let's have everything. Let's save this one, let's save this one. I think almost we have a save, and let's enter to the Django root url, front url, this one. Okay, so what it's saying, hire ca. So this is the app name. You guys see the error now? So this is the error. So when we call that particular view, it's try to find the template inside hire ca. Hire ca is the app name. Inside the hire ca we need to define contact list dot html. Okay, so inside the app we need to create a folder hire ca. Inside the hire ca we need to create a file contact.html. Okay, so let's do one thing, let's create, you will also figure out much better than here. Okay, so how things will be work. Okay, so I will show you more about this. These are the joins and these are the loaders. Okay, so this kind of a template loader, currently it's totally finding to the admin template and auth template. You see side packages Django contrib admin and contrib auth. Then inside the templates they are finding hire ca and contact list.html. Now we need to create a templates inside hire ca. Okay, so inside the hire ca we need to create a folder templates. Okay, inside the templates what we need to do, we need to create a again hire ca for template. Okay, so inside the template we are going to create a folder hire ca. Okay, inside the hire ca we need to create contact list dot html. Okay, so we are going to create contact list.html. Okay, cool. Now if you reload this, why error not gone? It should work. Hire CA templates, hire CA. Okay, so looks like something error. Okay, so let's figure out what is the error. So first of all, our this template directory is not included, so we need to check it out little bit. Setting.py. Okay, so let's go to the setting.py. Okay, and it's saying appdir equal to true. That means appdir should be loaded. Okay, so why it's not loading? Let's do one thing. Let's restart a template a little bit. Maybe that caused the error. Okay, so you see, I have restarted the server and now they able to catch the directory loading of a template. Okay, so now I was just written HH. Let's copy some code from ChatGPT and put on our HTML. Okay, cool. So I have added HTML file. Okay, inside the HTML you see contact. So by default if you see, it will not going to be work because we have written here contacts, and from view context object name contacts I have commented out. So what is the by default one? So by default, if we haven't specified the name, it always give object underscore list. Okay, so we need to write object underscore list here. Okay, let's reload it. Okay, so you see contact list, all the three records that we created be able to display inside HTML. Okay, our custom HTML page. Cool, looks good. Now 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 if you need to apply some custom filter, okay, so you only need to print if record created in last 2 hours. Okay, or name start with by. Okay, anything. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to override this method. Okay, so what we need to do, def get query set. Okay, now what we need to do, model dot objects dot filter and name first underscore name equal to by OG Yogesh. Okay, so we can return this. You don't need to be use super. Okay, so by default we can return record what happening records. Okay, so basically we already created a static variable in class, that is a model. So I have just written self dot model dot object dot filter. You remember before we were doing all the filter, get, create, everything. So I written self dot model dot object, self dot model, that means this variable that means contact dot object dot filter name, first name equal to Yogesh. Okay, so now if you reload this page, sorry, this page. Okay, I don't think there is a record. Why not? Hmm. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's debug it a little bit. We have a 7 minute of a time. So finally, one more thing I need to show you guys. So if you want to check it out something why it's not working, okay, so let's debug it. So I'm going to add import pdb, okay, pdb dot set underscore trace, okay, this is the python debugger. Now if you hit this url, okay, see it's still loading. If you go to the terminal, it's engaged where you added this sentence, okay. Now we can execute code line by line, okay. So there is a empty query set. Why empty query set? Okay, filter giving everything, okay, because I was not added capital letter, okay, that's why record was not coming. So first name equal to yogesh, okay. Can we do like start with, okay. So start with character you join, okay, not permitted. You need to write I contains, okay. So if you do not want like a capital letter small letter to be matched, you can use I contains, okay. So sorry, I'm going to delete it and pass the control to execution. So C and enter, it will be executed. Now let me write here capital Y and delete pdb. For now just make it comment, okay, and reload it. You see one record is coming, that is yogesh at the rate rubypie, okay. So now let's go to the admin 127 admin, and in contact let's do ankit should be like a gmail, and you need to only list the record who has domain rubypie.com, okay. So what need to be right, okay, I contains I contains Django, okay. So this is the one of the lookup we mostly like, right, okay. So we are going to copy the this one and we are going to write here I contains rubypie.com. Let's see. It's not coming. Why it's not coming? So what I contains do exactly, ठीक है ना. I contains look to use record that contain the specific value. I contain look case sensitive, okay. So it should work but it's not working. Why? So let's dig a little bit, okay. I know why it's not working, but I want to show you how again pdp work, okay. So let's hit it, control pass to the debugger. Let's run same thing, okay, inside the pdb. It's written blank string. Why? Because we are matching email, okay, and we have a given field name first name. So we need to type here email I contains. There is a two records come, correct. Let's pass control to execution, remove debugger, okay, and change name to email, and now reload the page. You see all the two names come. Hope this makes sense to you guys, and hopefully you able to understand what exactly we have done today. Anyone any question, okay, I'm happy to assist you guys. Thank you. I think we have done for today, And tomorrow session I will update you by like a evening 9 p.m. with the invitations to join tomorrow session. If you are not able to join, it's fine. I will upload the video and share it to you guys, and you guys can watch the video, and hopefully that going to make sense for all of you. Okay, cool.